Hey everyone, you're watching Ash on Comics. My name is Ash, and here's today's comic, Nightwing 53 by Lobdell, Nicieza, Moore. What the fuck? Zurcher? Bon Villain? Oh, I got robbed. Man, I did not see these names. I'm the kind of guy, I don't go by credits on the cover. In fact, one of the reasons I don't want credits on the cover is because it mucks up the art, but if I'm buying the book, I don't need to see your name on it every week, right? And once I'm buying it, I'll keep buying it. Even if you switch to a new guy, I'm going to give him at least an issue. You know, I'm not going to just like, oh, you drop this artist? I'm done. I'm not going to do that. Unless, I mean, if the artist is like horrible, like Marvel quality or something, but so I just picked this up, assuming it's the same crew as the last issue. This is the same thing that happened to me with Silencer, DC. You just snuck Zurcher on the book. And now, what does this mean? Does Zurcher's not on Silencer? Do I go back and pick up Silencer? Because I dropped that book. I'm so upset. Whatever. Now I bought the book. It's too late. They got their money out of me. Sorry for the glare. Whenever I sit at this table, the light, the way the light is just like right on top of. You know what? Maybe if I do this, pull that keyboard out. Oh yeah, that makes the. No, I can't win. All right, we open the book; it'll stop. Anyways. I like this cover the best of the alt covers. I have not been liking this artist for cover work, at least. Just something wrong with it. I don't know what it is. It just, aesthetically, it's not appealing to me. But I get the alt covers, and so what the hell? I just stuck with that. Yeah, anyways. So we start the book, and I gotta say, you know, I'm not a fan of Patrick Zurcher. It has nothing to do with his quality as an artist. It has everything to do with his quality as a human being. But more importantly, it has to do with I'm the buyer, he's the seller, and he treats me like shit as a consumer. He doesn't know me from Adam, but yet he still talks down to me, still makes fun of me, calls me names, shows contempt for me. Okay, I'm not going to buy your book. Tamara Bon Villain is just straight up trash. That is a bad person. Normally, I can maybe overlook because just the color work. I don't want to like. Sometimes, like I just think, but even then, I don't buy. Like I didn't get the Aliens book, the new Aliens book by Dark Horse, which is William Gibson's original script for Alien 3. I was like, hot damn, because if you know me, Alien 3 is one of my most hated films of all time, and it is the go-to film that I pick if I ever want to pick a bad film. It is a clinic. I could teach a course on how not to make movies on that particular film. It is arguably one of the worst films of all time, for good reason. I know there's worse films actually, but when I'm talking like A-list Hollywood films, yeah, it's... Anyways, so I was like, oh, this is the original script, and I love William Gibson, so... And then I actually got to look through it, and the art was good, and I was like, this looks great. And then I saw, Bon Villain, and I was like, F you, I'll pick up a different book. So, here I am rambling again. You're like, just get with the book, Ash. All right, so, Zurcher does a fine job with the art, which you can see for yourself. Not huge on his aesthetics, personally. It's a little soft. I kind of like the harder lines, but... his style lends for a very personable type of storytelling when you're just getting into character development and having characters interact. I like that. And he's also solid in his paneling. He knows what he's doing. He's a pro. There's no denying. And this book picks up from where the last book was, where we've got this cop who found Rick Grayson's stash and got his suit, and since Nightwing's been missing, since Rick Grayson is no longer Nightwing, he's picked up the mantle himself, and of course he's not the exact Nightwing that Rick was. He's a gun-toting, not really a vigilante because he's a cop, but, kind of the same way when Azrael took over for Batman. He didn't just follow Batman's methods. He was his own person. So, obviously, this cop guy doesn't know that Rick Grayson is Nightwing, and Rick has showed up only because he wants to help his fellow cabbie friend who he's tracked down. And this new Nightwing is basically telling unknown Nightwing to him, you need to get out of here, let the pros handle it, sort of stuff. And it's all well done. I was enjoying the dialogue is fine, and so I'm just going to skip past because there's quite a bit of it in this few pages. These characters going back and some inner monologue that Rick is having. And that way I can also avoid copyright strikes. Not that I monetize my channel or anything anyway, but So we get new Nightwing is doing the plan, and he wanted to get his buddy cops and, I guess there was a firefighter. He's got some other professionals that he was trying to get to help him, and they wouldn't. So he's flying solo, and he sees the guys, and I kind of liked how this story went. I know it's not really cliche, but it's not original. It's been done before, and this kind of reminded me a little bit of, from a stylistic choice at least, the Batman Year One, when Batman is, he doesn't really know what he's doing yet, and he makes a lot of mistakes. I really liked that aspect that Frank Miller brought out. And this book does the same thing. I like the idea of this character, and Kick-Ass took an angle of that as well, if you've ever read Kick-Ass, or maybe you've probably seen the movie, if you haven't read it. But so he jumps in, and I've kind of spoiled that. He falls and practically breaks his legs or whatever, because he's no superhero. And so there's Rick's friend all tied up. And this story is a very basic comic book, okay? They're not reinventing the wheel here. This is Scott Lobdell and Fabian Nicieza. These are two big writers from the 90s. They, at least to me, were mostly known for the X books. When Chris Claremont left, there was a huge vacuum, and shoes to fill. And Scott Lobdell and Nicieza were able to step in and do quite nicely. I knew that they could never live up. To me, it was kind of like the Disney Star Wars thing. A lot of people bitch about the Disney Star Wars. I'm getting on a tangent right now. I always told myself, this isn't going to be Lucas. This is going to be second rate. I knew going in. So I was never disappointed the way some of these fans are, that I'm just like, did you think it was going to be George Lucas when Disney did this? So a lot of fans obviously were disappointed in X-Men too, because it just wasn't Claremont's X-Men. But I told myself that going in, and I was like, you know what? It's not, and I expected this, but you're still doing decent for what you're doing. And I applaud you for trying to fill those shoes. So we get a little bit of action scenes, and Nightwing is trying to do his thing, and he's hurt. And then Rick shows up to help. And this Nightwing's got a gun, so otherwise he probably would have been toast. Rick Grayson frees his friend. And, look at this ad. Oh, Robert Venditti. One of the biggest names right now in DC. Maybe not the biggest name, but the name you should be paying attention to. I think the concept of the story looks great. I love freedom fighter resistance stories in the future. Sign me up. And I don't know anything about Eddie Barrows. 12-issue miniseries is... I don't really like miniseries, but I think I'm going to make an exception for this one. And so here we have Nightwing doing some fights. Whatever. And Rick seeing his friend in the hospital. And I forget what was going on here. I think this was like the support group guy. Oh, that's right. Sorry, I'm thinking ahead. So he's going into his bar and he's like, everything okay, man? Got a meeting tomorrow morning and I'm 3 sheets in the wind. I'm such a loser. Dude, you pried yourself off the bar stool. That feels like the act of a non-loser to me. Never thought of that, Rick. You've always known just the right thing to say. Or, have you always known just the right thing to say? Well, don't ask me. I don't know. I don't remember. I didn't read the whole page, and I kind of read it poorly to you on the camera. But this was a pretty touching scene, and I like moments like this in comics. I don't want to see the whole comic this way, but this humanizes the characters, and especially when it's well done like this was. Patch illustrated it well. Everyone, fine coloring. I hate crediting these two, but their craft is solid. They're just bad people. So, yeah, he goes and he's contemplating about his dreams and different things, and now he's hitting on the bartender, which I'm thinking to myself, what happened to Barbara? I guess you don't remember her, but you have a relationship with her, and she's calling you, and you're just like, whatever, I'm going to hit on this chick. I don't know. The one problem I am having with this whole thing is it's making me not like Rick Grayson as a character. And I jumped on this book because Tristan from Nerdette's Nerd Shack, I'm just gonna call it that because I can't get that out of my head. Her Nerdette's newsstand. She recommended. She's all into Nightwing and Batman. She's into anything that just has Batman or has been around Batman. You can make a comic about Batman's coasters and the drinks that they carry. And she'd be like, oh, exciting. I'm just playing, Tristan, if you're watching. So, back to the book. I don't like... I got this book because partly her recommendation says, oh, that's good. I'm like, oh, I hate Nightwing. I hate Nightwing. I've always hated the concept of Nightwing. And maybe I'll go with that at a different time. I don't want to go too long because you know how I can ramble. But I got this book because I was like, oh, he's shot in the head. He's had head trauma, amnesia, personality altering because of this event. Here's a chance for DC to actually do something finally with Nightwing besides just making Robin have a new costume. And I guess there's a can of worms. I already opened it. But my problem with Nightwing is that he was always just Robin with a new costume. I never liked Robin. I think Robin's a stupid character. And just putting a cooler looking costume on him and having him run around solo without Batman, to me just goes, okay, that's B-class Batman. If you've been watching Richard's Diversity in Comics videos lately, he's been going off on GoBots a lot to Transformers. He's like, GoBots are the trash version. This is the trash version of Batman. This is why do I want this when I can have Batman? But if you make something out of this character like you did Red Hood, he's not just Robin anymore. He's transformed. He's transcended being Robin into something new, his own person. And now we can like that or dislike the character or whatever based on that. Dick Grayson was never given that opportunity. And I hated that. I just whatever, I'm not interested. I do like Red Hood. I hate Robin, but Red Hood's no Robin anymore. This guy's still Robin. But hopefully I was like, this guy won't be Robin. Anyways, you're still hearing me blab. So I was excited. That's why I was hooked. Okay, cool. I want to read this story. See if they make Nightwing into a character I like. This guy's got amnesia. I get that he doesn't remember Babs. But if I got amnesia and my love of my life or whatever was trying to contact me and everything, and I was like, I don't remember you, I would at least consider you know what? I don't remember, but you're telling me this is how important things were. I'm not going to just blow you off. I'm going to maybe try to get to know you, even if it's platonically at first, try to understand, not just be whatever, just this laissez-faire, just fuck my old life, fuck everyone that was part of it and been past. I don't care if you have amnesia, that speaks to your inner character, inner being, and you're supposed to be a hero. And especially in DC, where they're aspirational heroes, they're not the broken down heroes that represent the reality, the broken down us, like Marvel. This is a guy we're looking up to and aspire to be. And he's just a broken man, and he's just, and I like this cute bartender I can hook up with. And it's maybe it's minor to a lot of people, but It's not to me. I don't know. I'm having troubles with that. So, sorry to hang up on so long like that. Remember, this is one of Cop Nightwing's buddies. He's listening to the news and talking about the report of basically what happened. And he's like, oh shit, he went out and did it. Then his friend comes stumbling through the door and needs a doctor, but doesn't want to go to the hospital and, needs help. And I believe that's where we... Nope, we don't leave off. We actually get to see the date. Rick Grayson has scored a first date with a chick who... I'm pretty sure... I have to go back and read the other books. I'm pretty sure she even knows that he's with someone. So that makes her seem kind of meh. I don't know. I'm going to have to talk to Tristan about this. She'll be an expert. Burritos. Burritos and bigotry. Am I right? I'm having X-Men flashbacks. All right. So, I can't wait. Such a double-edged sword, right? I'm like, Peter Tomasi, Detective Comics. Even when I was young and I didn't like DC, Detective Comics was my go-to book that I would occasionally pick up if I saw cool covers or a cool arc was happening. I would get Detective Comics. This was the only book I thought DC had was cool. And then in later years, Detective Comics just sort of fell by the wayside. And I was like, what happened? This used to be the most respected book. So I'm excited now to see it get one of my favorite writers on it. But every time I see that, it just reminds me of Superman and Super Sons. We lost 2 great books to hopefully get 1 great book replacement. Oh well. I forgot this book just goes on. So more date stuff, yay. So I was the counselor scene. I was spoiled earlier, that's what I was thinking, because I remember reading. So we got big guy here, thanks for all for listening. He comes up with the whole thing, and, thank you, Tiny. Is there anyone else I would like to share? And the group's like, no. And it's like, no one? Very well, then. If you would indulge me, I'd like to share. Did you know I'm a transplant from Gotham, blah, 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 blah. And, sorry, I had to shush my dog. Sorry about that. Hope it wasn't intrusive or people get upset because I heard a dog bark. So obviously, it's not easy to face your failures and your fears. Who could this character be? Bat fans all know. It's foreshadowing. Do you know what it's... Do you know what's really scary, you ruptured child? The only thing that is more terrifying than not having the power you crave is having that power and knowing that at any moment, at your merest whim, you can bring an entire city to its knees. I'm like, wow, that was a fast transformation. But pretty cool little end. And this is, the classic way comics always have ended. The last page is the cliffhanger, oh, what's going to happen? The comics were always build up to something like this, and then the next comic would start with a cool action scene. So whenever you picked up a new comic, you were always jumping into something, and then that usually would kind of get solved or put in the back burner, and then you have some little bit of story that would build up to the next final page, and then you get this, and you're like, oh, I gotta read the next one now, and so you were constantly on this up and down, and it was kind of like a roller coaster, and they didn't need to tell, fine lit. They just needed to tell fun adventure stories with good action, fun characters, maybe a little bit of wit if you were talented enough to put that in your book. And it was great. This is what a good comic should be. I was really pleased. This is the best of the 3 books I have. I still don't have an issue number 50. And now I'm torn. Do I finish this out if Zurcher's on it? I don't know what's going on. But this is a thumbs up. Nightwing this has been a solid arc. And I know some people are hating what's happened to his trauma, but you know what? Did you hate when Batman got his back broken? Did you hate when Doomsday killed Superman? You knew none of those were permanent. This is not permanent either, right? we're having an opportunity to see how other people step in Nightwing shoes. Oh, I got a little bit of spittle there. Good Lord. Don't lend me your comics. Not if you want them returned in good condition. I'm just kidding. I try to keep my comics in pristine condition. Then I got this like mat here so it doesn't even rub against the table. So, I had to stare down my dog. I was thinking I could yell on the camera. But anyways, enough rambling. Thank you for listening to me ramble. Thanks for watching this review. I hope you got something out of it. Even if you're not a Nightwing fan, this might be a book worth checking out. I've been enjoying it, and I'm not a Nightwing fan. If you are a Nightwing fan, it sounds like the common consensus is that they don't like kind of what's happening, but try to have an open mind. Like I said, this is not going to really be permanent. You know, let the story... Excuse me, I'm suppressing a cough. This is not a story that you know is going to continue. It's not ad infinitum. So... That's it. I don't ever know how to end. That's like the phone calls that don't go in. You're like, okay, goodbye. You have a good time too. Okay, you too. Okay, bye. I don't know if you've ever been on one of those phone calls that just never, you can't, neither one can say, like, finalize and hang up. So I'm just going to